We have Dr. Anthony Rodriguez, a faculty member in the Elementary and Special Education Department, who was the whistleblower. He's going to talk about his experience in that department after he revealed these facts about the discriminatory practices.
Thank you, Eric. I stand here before you as the 2011 Golden Apple winner for excellence in education. The chance of a qualified, dynamic, and talented teacher winning that award is the same as a high school football player getting drafted in the NFL. It's rare. I taught in New Mexico for 12 years. It's a dynamic state that ranks #1 in child poverty, but none of the people that I taught with ever saw deficits in the students that they work with. Upon coming to Providence College, that was the most shocking thing within the elementary and special education department. That not only they saw people of color as full of deficits, but they started isolating and silencing them from the minute I got there. When a college cares about equity and diversity, they will hold people who discriminate accountable. They will tell those who silence and harm them to stop. Otherwise, we are knowingly sheltering those whose first instinct when teaching a person of color is to descend into deficit modes of thinking, those seeds of future discrimination. These seeds have been able to bear fruit in my department, and I now know without question why there's so few people of color teaching in the classrooms in Rhode Island. It starts with the arbitrary system of privilege within their undergraduate teacher training program, and who gets this privilege and who does not. My department over many years, in a controlled, focused, and deficit-oriented manner, removed people of color from the elementary and special education department. They have done so by creating these biased assessments that have no grounding in empirical research. These assessments, policies, and practices have consistently, over time, disproportionately harmed Black and Latinx students. Under the guise that RIDE has required these barriers for licensure, the department has duped and misled our students. What the college has done in response is to coddle, assign innocence, and to provide private tutoring to fully tenured faculty while attempting to cover the issue up with a college-wide branding campaign. Administrators' choice to ignore the harm that the department has caused is a short-term patch that is already unraveling and revealing underlying problems. The administration is quick to assign good intentions and innocence to our department. The administration does not grant the same benefit of doubt to the students of color whose careers they ruined. Our administration has to stop allowing faculty to learn on the backs of people of color. Providence College can, right now, enact systemic change to benefit all students of the college. Yet our administration and department are more interested in exterior appearances than in high-leverage, evidence-based practices for inclusion, diversity, and support of those marginalized. The Coalition on Racism has provided universal supports for anyone struggling to breathe in this repressive environment. We are here because we want to build a better place for those hired and admitted by Providence College. Holding people accountable is that first step. We work in the shadow cast by heroes such as Charles Hamilton Houston, who laid the groundwork of Brown versus Board of Education in his exposure of the separate but equal schools. We are looking to enact real change at Providence College that exposes the branding and cultural competency training for what it is. It is a smokescreen and a choice to take the easy path. We care about our college, we care about our students, and because of this we cannot continue to accept the false promises that come with gradualism. I noticed these problems before my first semester working in the department. When I voiced these concerns, they were first brushed aside as coincidental. Later, when pressed further, I was told that other people in the department had acted inappropriately for decades, but it's not them. It's always not them. It's somebody else. When I continued to ask questions, I was roundly silenced by the department and the administration. This act of silencing students has been a theme for a long time, and it applied to me as well for the past 7 years. First made the college formally aware of their practices in the fall of 2014, when I advocated on how we should stop encouraging teachers learning DuckTales as a behavior management strategy. Now, DuckTales for the layman is when they ask students to put their hands behind their back and walk down the hallway. It's basically the perp walk, and it's part of this school-to-prison pipeline that we are training students to do in our schools, and our college has our department has abided by for a long time. I later wrote about this in Education Week, entitled DuckTales Discipline, Disrespect Writ Large. I have since, with multiple formal letters, meetings, and resultant investigations, all of which have not been released to the public, made the college aware of what needs to be changed. I hope that through real discussions on data and research, we would enact apparent changes that become more aligned with evidence-based practices of the 21st century. I was wrong. Over the past 7 years, beginning formally in March 21st, 2013, I have been subjected to open and unyielding harassment and retaliation by members of my department and beyond, of which the university has done nothing to stop. The goal was to silence my voice and bury the truth. I have paid the price for my advocacy. For 6 years, my department attempted to discredit my work and tarnish my reputation in a systemic paper trail of lies and openly racist statements that they hoped would lead to my firing. They voted to deny my tenure and hoped that this false and misleading testimony would influence the college-wide Committee on Rank and Tenure, known as CART. Fortunately, this committee judged me on my work and not my advocacy, and I stand here before you as a tenured faculty member. Recently, I had to move my office to another building to place myself outside of harm's way. My department has been in receivership for over 2 years, and I've recently been made aware that the administration has decided to empower the same people, structures, and systems that caused harm to people of color in the first place. These efforts are meant to give an all-clear sign to the community while we continue to do what we have always done. In closing, we do not have the time nor the patience to have administrators and members of the elementary and special education department learn at the expense and on the backs of our students of color. At this point, it is much easier to own the problem and apologize to those harmed than it is to continue to fool ourselves that branding and private tutoring is ever the answer. We should be humble and admit what we do not know. We need to improve, do good work, stay vigilant, and that should be more important than keeping up our appearances. Protect reputations and save face. This problem is our stumbling stone at PC. Transparency and oversight of my department will lead to significant change and allow for the profound talents of our students to emerge, bringing us closer to God. It is where innocence is lost, profound truths revealed, and essential work begun. Thank you very much.